Hello there, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me today. I do hope you're well. We are back in Planet Zoo today, and we're in Tiny Zoo once again. So in our last episode we were building this habitat here, which turned out really nicely. This was for our Amur leopards, if that's the right pronunciation, I'm not too sure. So they are in here somewhere doing something. I don't know where they are actually. They vanished. They've been abducted by aliens. Oh, they actually have been abducted by aliens. Okay, never mind. Actually, do you know what? I think maybe, yeah, all of our animals are gone. So, what happened was that the game is starting to lag. Unfortunately, real shame, but you know, that's the game for you. It's very processor heavy, and I don't have a supercomputer, so I've actually had to remove the animals out of the zoo. Bit of a shame, but there we go. It's the only way to speed the game up and keep it going. So I want to keep this zoo going. I want to keep building in it for as long as I can. So the easiest way of doing that is just to remove the animals, because it's not then having to process all of those animals walking around and working out all the traversable areas, because that seems to be what causes most of the processor slowdown, is when it's working out the traversable areas. So if you remove the animals, you remove the problem. So that's what I've had to do. So anyway, so our leopards aren't in there, but that's fine. Today we are building a habitat over here, and I've already started. So this is going to be for the new horses. Let me just find them in here. I don't know how you pronounce the name, but they are wonderful little creatures. I'm going to say that is pronounced Przewalski. I think the Z is probably silent. So let's go with Przewalski's horse. So these come from Mongolia. Yeah, they're really nice looking creatures. I'm very happy that they've put stuff like this in the game. In fact, one thing I'd love for them to do is to create a sort of a farmyard animal pack. I think that could be really good fun. Put in a whole load of new bits and pieces, scenery wise, for farms, and put in things like pigs and goats, and I don't know, whatever else you get on farms, chicken, stuff like that. I think that'd be great. I think it would be really good to be able to do that sort of thing, because you do find that sort of thing most wildlife parks and zoos, certainly in England here. Most of them do have those animals as well, because the kids love them, you know, and the only way that these places continue operating is to attract children and families. So if you can have stuff like pigs and chickens and guinea pigs and rabbits, that kind of thing, you know, it's just one more reason why kids will want to visit. So that's something that I would really like to see in the future, is a farmyard pack. So again, if you're listening, Frontier, please, you know, give us what we want. Go on. You know you want to. Anyway, so today's episode is going to be about horses. So I had a bit of an idea of what I wanted to do. So it's in this space here. And I wanted to build a red barn. The traditional red barn that you see all over the place. It's a big sort of traditional American looking barn, isn't it? It's a red barn with the white beams. And then the roof is sort of angled in steps, so it's round, but it's kind of angled and round. So I create my own version of it, basically. So this is the start. So this is just simple planks of wood here. So you've got the basic Planet Zoo plank, and then the upright. So these new blind slats from the conservation pack, which I've painted white. It was a bit tricky. It looks really straightforward actually creating that, and it was, but it went wrong. So I had to do 2 attempts at it to get it right. So yeah, so my thinking was I wanted a barn, then I wanted an outdoors area here, and I wanted something next door, like a little cafe or something like that. And actually what I end up building over here, I'm really chuffed with. If you're not English and you're just wondering what I said chuffed. It's an English term. It means happy. Sorry, it's a really weird English word, chuffed. I'm chuffed with something, means that I'm pleased with it. Right, so yeah, so I'm very happy with how this turned out. That's the reason why there's some wider pathways here, because I wanted to create a small seating area here for a cafe of some sort. So I'm at the moment I'm just sketching ideas and getting stuff down, but this is the basics. Not a very big area, but I was only planning on having 2 horses, a male and a female. So this is plenty for them. So they've got a nice sheltered area. They have an outdoors area here as well. I also wanted it to be sort of child friendly, so I needed some nice sort of see-through fencing. And I also wanted to create some kind of a sort of a stroking the horses area, somewhere where the fencing is lowered so people can lean in and stroke the horses if the horses want to be stroked. So yeah, so that was my thinking behind this enclosure, and this is how I got started. So let me load up my next save point and we'll see what I did next. Take a look at my barn. No, don't take a look at my barn. Take a look at the lovely horses. So we have our 2 horses in. Who do we have? Oh, I didn't know the animals had surnames. That's interesting. So we've got Alton Sinai is our little female, and we have Monk Erdine. I've never seen a horse with a surname before. That's interesting. That must be a new addition. I mean, crazy names. Why can't they just be Bob and Frederick or something, you know? Never mind. They're cool, aren't they? They're lovely looking things. Really nicely detailed. Look at the fur. Just look at that detail. You can get in a bit too close. But yeah, you can get in incredibly close to these animals and they still look amazing. And their movement is really good, as you just saw there. Nice little trot. Yeah, they're great creatures. And they definitely look different, don't they, to traditional horses. But yeah, I'm really enjoying them. I think they're a lovely addition to the game. So that is our 2 horses in. Now I didn't want to put a pond or anything in for these. That seemed a bit daft. So I've put in a water tray here, and I've also put in one of these little trays over here with the tap. This one here is always filled up and it gets used. For some reason they don't fill this one up, and I don't know why. It never gets used. I don't know. I find this with a lot of these enrichment items. They don't ever get used, and I don't know why. He could just walk over there and fill it up with water, but for some reason it doesn't trigger that he needs to, and so he doesn't. And you can call a keeper and they still don't do it. So that's something I think Frontier needs to work on. If I want that filled up, if I call a keeper, look, he should come running and go and instantly fill that up. That should be the point of pushing that button. I want that filled up, go fill it up. But they don't. Look, they walk in, they do a quick inspection, and she goes, yep, absolutely fine, nothing to do here. And she'll walk back out again. Well, that's no good. That's what was the point of me calling a keeper to fill that up if they weren't going to do it. So yeah, that's a really odd thing in the game. I don't really know why it's like that. But there we go. But that's the water source that I've chosen to use in this habitat. So the barn, as you can see, is finished. I'm pretty pleased with how this one turned out. It's not your absolutely traditional looking barn. They would have the roof would be taller on those traditional looking barns, but this is my version of it, and I'm pretty pleased. I think it turned out really nice. I love all the cross beams on it. I like that I've continued the beams down the sides as well. It's just something a little bit different. I think I did try at one point just having the beams go to here, and the shape just looked a little bit odd. I don't know, it just didn't quite look right. And then I had the longer beams on the side, and it just works. It just adds an extra little dimension to the building. So yeah, I'm really pleased. You can see all the beams on the inside as well, which is really nice. You've got a little bit of foliage sticking through the roof, but I don't mind that. Bit of bedding in here obviously for the animals. So yeah, and I've pushed that right up to this wall here. It also goes right up to the wall at the back here. Now this is something I spotted in a previous episode, and I do actually correct this at some point while I was building this one. So these bricks do disappear back inside. But yeah, that's my barn. I think it looks really nice. The horses obviously like it, as you can see. They're traversable area. They can come inside. We've got lots of room in there. And this is their outside area. That does change a little bit. I do close it off at the end here. They don't manage to go all the way around here, and that's because I have fun creating a little cafe over in this area here. But for now, that's yeah, that was our basic shape. Now I wasn't too sure at this point. I knew I wanted to do a simple wooden fence alongside the path here, but I wasn't sure what I was going to do over by this flower bed here. I think realistically I had to do something. These horses, even though they have got fairly short legs, if they wanted to, they could jump up onto here and escape. They could injure themselves, they could fall off of here and land on someone, you know. So I did have to eventually put a fence down this side as well, which was fine. Once I'd actually created the fence along these two sides, it was a pretty simple process just to copy it into that bit over there as well. So yeah, it wasn't too much of a problem at all. Right, so that's come together, isn't it? I think that's you can see that's the basic structure of the habitat in now. This was the big part of the whole building process, really, was getting this barn in. The rest of the habitat came together pretty quickly, to be honest, apart from the cafe. That took a bit of time, and you'll see why, because it's quite cool and different and detailed. But yeah, let's move on and see what I got up to next. Oh, look at this. This is looking like a proper little farmyard now, isn't it? So this is my fence that I came up with. So really simple. This is just using the basic wooden fence posts that are in the game, and just obviously just copied and pasted all the way around. And then this bit here, I love this bit. This bit worked out really nicely. So what I did, I just dropped the fence down to this level, just got rid of the upper bit and moved the posts down. And then I just built a little framework over the top and put a "Meet the Horses." And I've got this lovely sign. This is a new sign, obviously, to match the animals inside. So this is the idea of this, is that if the horses want to be interactive with people, they can just wander over to here, stick their heads out, and adults and children alike would be able to stroke the horses. I really like that. You see this a lot in real places. Little areas like this where you can actually interact with the animals without going into the enclosure. But it's nice because it gives the horses the option. If they don't want to be touched, they stand over there. If they want to be touched, they come over here. And you'd get your keepers coming over and sort of encouraging the animals over with buckets of food or whatever. I've also put some of the enrichment items, like this food one here and these two food ones here, quite close to this area. So that it just encourages the horses to come closer to the people. Oh, look at him having a nice little scratch on his fake tree there. So they've got a lot of enrichment in here. You've got a little picky-uppy ball thing. You've got two trees, which are both the scratching posts. You've got another scratching post there. You've got a feeder back here. You've got a football. You've got another little picky-uppy thing. You've got a scarecrow, which has just been used by the looks of it. You've got a scent marker thing here. You've also got another barrel feeder there. You've got this one. Is this actually a food one? I think it is. It's a plant screen. I'm not actually sure what that is for, whether that's a food or a toy, to be honest. But either way, they like it, so it's all good. Yeah, so that's that. So that's not finished yet, because I do foliage in here as well. Not too much, but I do a bit here and there. And obviously then the next big project was the cafe over here. And the cafe has something attached to it on the side down the barn here. This is why I cut this this enclosure off here, was because I had an idea of what I could put in this little space here, using a lot of the new things that have just come in the new conservation pack. So I'm looking forward to showing you what I've done with that, because I think it's really good, and it's using a lot of my favourite pieces. Oh, where's he going? Have I put oh yes, I did put something in here as well. What is it? Let's have a look. Ah, it's a watermelon. Oh, sorry, it's a woman. She has just topped up the watermelon. So yeah, they got a watermelon inside the barn there as well. You know what they're thinking? They're thinking, she's just put a watermelon down. Who's going to eat it first? No, you have it first. No, I'll have it first. Alright, I'll have it first then. Maybe neither of them are going to have it. Oh, have a little nibble first, yeah. Oh, they're scratching each other's bums. That's a great animation, isn't it? Oh, I like that. Oh, a little nozzle there as well. Oh, they're in love. How cute. Now he's going to go and have some watermelon. Nom nom nom. Nice. I don't know quite how they would bite into a watermelon, to be honest, but you know, they seem to cope. And the watermelon remains intact. And this one's having a little drink. Lovely. Anyway, right, I could sit there and watch them for hours, but I won't, because that would be quite boring, wouldn't it? Anyway, so that's yeah, that's come together really nicely. You can see that's the shape all taken care of now, with the fence down the back there as well, as I mentioned. So yeah, it's very farmyard looking, which is what I was going for. Nice straight line, simple wooden structures. yeah, really, really pleased with how this one turned out. And once I do all the stuff over here, it's even better. Plus, like I said, foliage inside the habitat itself. So let me move on. Let's load up the next save point and see what I did next. Right, so you'll see I've purposely angled the camera away from the cafe because I don't want to show you that just yet. I want to just show you the foliage that I put in here. I didn't want to fill it up with trees and big shrubs because they just wouldn't survive. With horses around, horses will just eat shrubs. But I did use some of the new items to create this in the middle here. Actually, that isn't a new one, that's elephant grass. But these other ones here, these are the small plants, the oxeye daisies, the poppies. What have you got? Pincushion flowers, all these new ones that have come in the new conservation pack. And when you blend them together like this, look how nice that looks. It's so detailed, it's so realistic. It's like proper just wildflower meadow look. I absolutely love these pieces, and the elephant grass actually works really nicely in amongst it. So yeah, I'm going to have a lot of fun using these new pieces to create all these nice little patches of grass and flowers like this. So yeah, really, really, really happy with how these look. So I just created a small area in here. Any more than that would just look a bit over the top in this sort of a habitat. But I kind of like the idea, he's playing football, isn't that cool? I kind of like the idea that the horses don't walk on this bit, and they spend their time around the outside of the pen, and they kind of leave this area untrampled. Which you do find actually with a lot of animals, when they're in an enclosure like this, they do tend to stick to the outside. They kind of patrol their area, which is also why I've put mud around the outside here, so it looks like they walk on this bit a lot more, which is exactly what you see in every habitat in a real zoo. You will always see this this sort of well-trodden pathway around the edge of the habitat. I've also put in this layer of stone along the bottom of the fence just to blend the pathway with the terrain. You know me, I don't like the sharp edges of the path. I like to have something to blend the two together, so that's what I chose to do all the way around the edge there. Now this is going to give you a bit of a hint as to what is in this corner over here. There's a wheelbarrow here with a pumpkin and cabbage in it. You've got a little shovel leaning up against here, so this is like a little cleaning shovel, so scooping up all the horse poop. And you've got a hose pipe on the wall here. So what do you think I built in the corner? That's right, it's a vegetable patch. How good is this stuff? Oh, I just had so much fun doing this. So obviously I just built a little raised flower bed first. That's nice and simple. But then you've got cabbages, you've got these are the pumpkins, and then what I've done with these, let me just get into the building here. So these are the new items. These are the vegetable pumpkins, and then I've just used little alpine currants here to make it look like a bit of foliage attached to each one. And then I've done the same with these marrows as well. Just put a bit of foliage just so it looks like they're actually growing on a plant rather than just lying on the soil. Then on the back here I put some trellis up with some ivy growing on it, and I've just hung a load of pumpkins. Because you can grow pumpkins upwards like this. They don't have to grow on the ground. You can actually grow them up a trellis or a support of some sort. And then the pumpkins will just hang. Now obviously it's not that realistic because they're hanging through the trellis, but I can't really do much about that. I tried angling them differently and it just didn't look right. So I've just left it like that, and I think that's fine. I can get away with that. And then you've got all these individual carrots here. I mean, look at that. How good does that look? I swear they could make a farm version of this game as an entire game in itself. There's so much potential. I love all of this stuff. So these carrots, obviously I just made a line and copied it, but I did turn them all individually as well, so they didn't all look the same. So every single one has been turned slightly differently, which was a little bit time consuming, but it was well worth it. And then I left obviously a little pathway here to come into this area, and in here we have some pots with some sunflowers, and this would be to encourage the bees, because you've got this lovely bee house and general insect house at the end here. So to encourage the bees in, you've given them a habitat, and you also give them pollen. So they would come in and they would sit on the sunflowers here, and then they would come over here and pollinate all your vegetables. And so the idea is that they would grow these vegetables here specifically to feed the horses, hence why there's a couple already inside the pen here. So horses would eat all of this stuff. I mean, horses are generally just eat anything fruit and veg, to be honest. So they would happily eat all of these things. So that's the idea. And obviously I've also built a little cafe next door. You excuse the stuff lying on the floor here. This was just me laying out all the items that I could use. So this obviously is just a temporary thing. So this isn't finished yet. This does get improved. It's not done yet. I've also got the water butt in here, but obviously I need a downpipe and some guttering going into that. So that gets done. I've also got a few more items like the forks and tools and things that need to go into here. But yeah, so that's my little vegetable garden. I had a lot of fun with this, and I just love all these new pieces. I just think they're fantastic additions to the game. So yeah, I mean, let me know what you think if you're enjoying all these new pieces as well. I mean, just a watering can. I mean, I probably mentioned this before. In real life, I am a gardener. So this is me. This is what I do. I grow vegetables. I grow plants, and I love this sort of detail. You know, this is my day-to-day life. So for me, this is just perfect, absolutely perfect for me. So the cafe is pretty straightforward. I've continued the same theme with the red walls and the white beams. It's a very simple building. You've got a couple of food and drink places in the middle. You've got toilets here, and then I put a keeper hut at the end here so that they don't have to walk too far to find food for the animals. Obviously I had the gaps in the pathway to fill up, so again just a little stone and the little the fences put in there to make sort of little dividers. Bit of a gap along the back, which I think I put some foliage in, but I can't actually remember, to be honest. I might not have done that yet. So like I said, there is still a bit more detailing to go on there, and I've still got this seating area to sort out here as well. But other than that, we are getting there. I think there's probably only one more save point to show you, and that will probably be it, I think, for the episode. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one. I really did. So let me just load up that last point and I'll show you the finished article. And here we are with our finished habitat. So let me just show you the extra detail that I did over here. Oh look, I've left a carrot. That carrot is not meant to be there. Oh, excuse me. I do apologise. I think I just sneezed at you. Very sorry about that. Right, sorry. It's the pollen. I swear it's the pollen. I don't actually get hay fever, but I've been sneezing a lot these last few days. And I'm sitting here with an open window, so it could well be a little bit hay fever. I'm not too sure. Right, so I just did a little bit more detailing here. I've got a fork in the vegetable patch here. I love these. I mean, look at that. It just looks so cool. You just stick it in the ground, angle it, make it look like it's in use. Brilliant. I put a trug down here, and I put a little trowel in there. And then around the corner here, you've got a little watering can. I've got a shovel here leaning up against the bee house. And then I did put guttering all the way around this building on all four sides, and then you've got a little down pipe here coming down into the water butt. So the water butt just moved over and turned a little bit because it was just over here. So I just had to move that over. The down pipe goes in, fills it up with water, and then the watering can is there to collect the water and use it on the sunflowers or the vegetables. So yeah, these I can't express to you how much I love all these new pieces. They're just amazing, absolutely fantastic. Just the detail that you can now create these little vegetable gardens. It's just, oh, I'm in heaven. What can I say? So this building didn't change much. What I did do is put this wall in all the way along here, just encompassing this seating area, just continuing the same theme. So this is actually the new wall that came in the conservation pack. So it's a conservation 3D printed wall. I just like to use new pieces when I can. And this is a new piece, and I've coloured it red to match the rest. Put some lights on it as well. The lights themselves are also new. So these are the conservation solar garden lights. So just a few of those along the wall. And then just the round metal tables. These are my favourite tables because they match everything. They just go with any situation at all. And a few canopies. I didn't want to put one on every table. It looks better if you just have a few selected ones with the canopies. You've got a bin over here as well. And that's pretty much it. I did put an information board on the horses here. I didn't put one at the end. So just one here so that people can read about the horses and hopefully interact with them a bit. Although actually I can't even see them at the moment. Where are they? They must be asleep. Yeah, here we go. Having a little bit of private time in there. So there we go. That's it. That's our habitat. It was pretty simple. There wasn't anything too complicated about this one. For me, this one was all about the vegetable patch. It was just the detailing of this area here, and the theming, you know, the whole idea of this vegetable patch being grown specifically to feed the horses and potentially to be used in the cafe as well, but really it's about making food for the horses. I love that. I absolutely love that. I think it's such a good little detail to have in the game, being able to do this sort of thing. I hope they do more. I hope they get a lot of good feedback about all these small items. I think it's one of those things that with this Planet Zoo, so once people have played the game properly, like played the franchise modes or whatever for a little while, people just want to play and be creative. That's where we get the enjoyment from the game, and the best way to be creative is by having options of pieces to put in buildings. And so the more pieces of scenery and stuff like this that they can give us, the better. Now, I still think there's a lot they can do here to add realism to the game. I think they need a lot more things like this, like wheelbarrows, shovels. I mean, you think about something like a horse. What does a horse do? It creates horse dung. So why not create some items of horse dung that you can actually put into the habitat? You know, like fake horse dung. Because it's just detailing, isn't it? And that's why we play this game. It's for those little details. There could be so many things like that they could create. Just little items. They could do a whole DLC without any animals at all and just create detail items. And everyone would want it. Everyone would buy it. Or most people would. Obviously not everyone. But yeah, so many people would buy a pack which just supplied loads and loads of cool little details. So we'll see. I don't think they will ever do that. I think there'll always be some animals as well. But as long as they keep doing this as well, so give us a few animals, sure, but also just give us more little detailed items like this. Just things like the little trowel and the trugs, the forks, the individual little vegetables. They could do a whole vegetable pack. That would make me happy. You know, just stuff like that. But also they should think more about what could go in the habitats. Like I say, little piles of dung, and you know, like a pitchfork in a pile of dung in a habitat, that sort of thing. You know, there's an awful lot of potential there, I think. But we shall see. I don't know. I do think this carrot got forgotten about. I suspect that will still be there in a couple of episodes' time, when I load up save points for the next 2 episodes. Because like I said, I've done 2 more episodes after this one already. I haven't recorded them yet, but I have built them, and I'm pretty sure I don't at any point come back and delete this carrot. We'll find out. If I remember, I'll come back, and in a couple of episodes' time I will come back and see if that carrot is still hovering in the air. I suspect it will be. Anyway, there we go. That is our horse. Hang on, I'm going to try and pronounce it again. A Przewalski's horse. There we go. That is our Przewalski horse habitat. And yeah, I'm really pleased with how this one turned out. I think it looks exactly how I envisioned it when I first started. So let me know what you think. Do you like these animals? Do you like the new pack, the conservation pack with all these cool little details in? Is it for you? You know, it's not going to be for everyone, but I think most people will appreciate having all these new items, especially these. If you don't like all the vegetable garden stuff, I think most people would appreciate all these new plants and the options that they give us for creating these little wildlife areas. So yeah, hopefully there's something in the pack for everyone, and obviously we've got some cool new animals as well, so it's all good. Right, so let's leave it there. So thank you very much for joining me. Our next episode, let me just think. Our next episode is in... Where is it? It's in this gap here. Oh yes, I had a lot of fun with this one. So this area just here, and I can tell you the animal, if I can find it. I think it's right next to the horses, actually. Where are we? No, it's not quite, is it? It's a little bit further down here. Here we go. The scimitar horned oryx. Yeah, so 2 more animals in this pack. You've got the scimitar horned oryx, and you've got the siamang. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Oh, it's a type of gibbon. There we go. I think I called it a monkey earlier. My apologies. It's a gibbon. So yeah, so these are the next 2 episodes. It will be the scimitar horned oryx and then the siamang. I've already built them and they both turn out really, really well. I'm very pleased with both of them. So this area here is going to have the oryx in it. So that will be our next episode. But for now, let's leave it there. I will just get back to a little view of our horses demolishing their scarecrow. There we go. Beautiful. Right, so thanks very much for spending a bit of your spare time with me. I do appreciate your company. And if you've enjoyed it, please do hit the like button for me. I would really appreciate that as well. So hopefully I will see you soon. Until then, do take care. Bye for now.